Uh, yes.
Yes, okay. So I'll start now. Uh, so welcome to part two of Parental Alienation, a true story by myself, Adrian David Shiok, and I'm joined by Dr. Sharif, who knows all the details of this true story. So last time, Dr. Sharif, we talked about how I treated Kotoko like a princess, took her all around the world and took her to all the sites. And she was always I was taking her to a friend's house, cinemas, boxing, archery, horse riding. So she really was treated like a absolute princess. Don't you agree?
Yes.
So that was last week. So today I will talk about the tragedy that happened, and it was a real backstabbing. And it was basically, I think, this tragedy is the level of Shakespearean tragedy. It was so bad. And I'll tell you things that at the time I didn't know, but I know now. After, 3 years, I've found out all these different things. So I didn't know them at the time, but I will tell you what happened as I know now. So when we last left off, we were all living in Australia with Kotoko, and also if you remember my former student Emma, and we had a baby son, and later on we had a baby daughter, Nicola and Angelina. Anyway, so we were all living in Australia. But I still gave, I would say 99% of my, um, 99% of my uh, efforts on Kotoko. Everything I did was for Kotoko. And anyway, this is when the tragedy started. Kotoko's Japanese passport was expiring, and even though I'd gone to the Japanese court to get the custody of Kotoko, the Japanese embassy in Australia, they still refused to give the passport without her mother's signature. Now, this goes against the. I nearly spent 1 year in court in Japan that I could have the signing authority for a passport. But the Japanese embassy, they just ignore it. And I think Japanese people are very racist people. If you're not Japanese, forget it. You have no rights. So they wanted the signature of Kotoko's mother with Midori. So I actually, as I told you before, Midori for about 10 years hardly ever contacted Kotoko. Maybe on her birthday, she would send a 2 or 3 line email. That was it. And basically, she totally ignored Kotoko for more than 10 years. And I looked after Kotoko, as I said last week, and looked after her like she was a princess. Anyway, I said to her, uh, we tried to contact Midori. I knew the email of her brother, Midori's brother, and I said, look, we need the signature. And then Midori, she signed the signature for the passport. But what I didn't know then is that in the background, Sharif, without me knowing, and I'm going to tell you that I trusted Kotoko 100%. 100%. I would never doubt Kotoko. I would never be suspicious of Kotoko. And never even think that she would lie to me. I 100% trusted her to say the truth. But what I found out is that when Midori contacted us and to give the signature for the passport, Kotoko and her mother started to contact each other in the background. maybe by the phone with the line or something like this, or email as well. And I think she told Midori that I was with Emma and we already had another baby son. And I think Midori got furious at this. So even though she ignored Kotoko for uh, probably 10 years or so, she ignored Kotoko. Um, I think she became furious that I was with Emma and we had a baby. And that's when the trouble started. I didn't realize then, Sharif, but that's when the trouble started. And Kotoko changed and she uh, also started to say crazy things like she wants to commit suicide and all this really weird stuff. And at the time, I had no idea why in the world would you're treated like a princess. Why in the world would you say you want to commit suicide? But of course, this was because of the mother. Maybe the mother was telling her to say this or influencing her. Anyway, maybe from that time onwards, before that we very rarely ever had any argument. Maybe once or twice a year we would have an argument. Very rarely, all right. I was a lot of fathers with their kids, they have fights all the time. But it was very rare for me to have a fight with Kotoko. But after that time, Kotoko started to act weird, like, and I totally trusted Kotoko, so I had no idea what was going on. But she started to say things like, "Oh, I want to commit suicide," and I don't know what, uh, saying that. And I would say to her, "How can you say that you want to commit suicide? You're living the life of a princess, and you have everything you want." And all the money in the world. You travel the world. I take you everywhere. I took you on all my keynote speeches. Why in the world would you say you want to commit suicide now? And and this would lead to very big fights. And Kotoko would shout, and I would shout, and she'd say she wants to commit suicide. And honestly speaking, I got really, really angry sometimes. Maybe a few times a year, like every 2 or 3 months, we'd have a really big argument, which is strange because before we never argued. And occasionally, yes, I have to admit, I would hit her a couple of times, maybe on the arm or the bum. Nothing like really hard or like not beating her up or anything, but just out of being so upset that she says she wants to commit suicide, right? Later on, she would use this. She would say like I'm a violent man and I beat her up and I don't know what. Actually, you know what, Sharif? She did boxing for 6 years. There's no way that like, my maybe slapping her a couple of times in the arm or hitting her a couple of times in the arm or bum, you know, that she was her. That was just rubbish. But she told the police I'm a very violent man, right? You know what? I think she provoked me so that I would hit her, and then they could go and tell the police that I'm a violent man. And then what? And then later on, uh, she actually told the police that I dragged her on the floor with her hair. And I tell you what, Sharif, she didn't tell the police. The reason I did that is because she said I want to commit suicide and she was going to jump off the balcony, right? And I was so scared that she was going to jump off the balcony that I grabbed her and I dragged her back into the house. That was what the truth was, right? But she turned it into oh, he's so violent. He dragged me on the floor by my hair or something. She didn't say the first part. She was going to jump off the balcony of the apartment, right? Anyway, I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I think very much that Midori and her basically. plan that, to make me so angry that I hit her or do something so that they could say to the police that he's a very violent man. But at the time, Sharif, I never guessed she was contacting her mother in the background, and I never guessed that she would even lie. Not even one word. You know what? Every word she said, I believed it, right? And like I said, I treated her so well. Even during the pandemic, she said, that I didn't let her see her friends. Actually, we were in Australia. It was the pandemic. I was scared of catching coronavirus. She was scared of catching coronavirus as well. But still, every week we would go to my PhD supervisor's house for dinner, and his daughter Olivia was a little bit younger than her. They used to play together. And I had another friend, Paul, and he had a daughter who was a little bit older than Kotoko, and they also would play together. So, yes, sure, we didn't go out as much after the pandemic started, but not like the way they made it out. Like I locked her in the house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's just total rubbish, right? And one more thing is that I didn't know that she was secretly talking to my mother and my auntie, maybe my grandfather as well. And they were all planning as well for Kotoko uh, to leave me when I went to Japan to work as a professor. So I was being what do you call it? Backstabbed by Kotoko, but also it was her mother. And also my mother, my auntie, and all of my family were lying to me. Everyone was planning that when Kotoko goes to Japan, she will leave and she will go back to her mother, right? And can you imagine, Sharif, uh, everyone in your life is lying behind your back, has secrets behind your back, is lying to you. I would never imagine that. Like I said, I never imagined that Kotoko would lie to me. And I would never imagine that my own mother would lie to me, right? I mean, it's incredible. Uh, at the time, I trusted, even though we had fights, but I still trusted Kotoko 100%. I still never imagined that my mother would lie to me or plan things in secret. And I don't know why, Sharif, but my whole family, they wanted Kotoko to go back to her mother. I have no idea why, because I treated Kotoko so well. I was the best father to her. All for 10 years, I did everything for her. Like I said, we traveled the world, we saw the world. I took her to sports, to boxing. Every day I would drive her to boxing, and I paid so much money for her sports and her activities. And because we were traveling and doing sports, she did the Laurel Springs online school. That cost me more than 30,000 US dollars a year. It was a lot of money. And like I said last time, they actually said that it was child abuse to send her to online school. Child abuse. I mean, can you believe it? I mean, why, if I wanted to abuse Kotoko, why would I pay $30,000 to send her to a top American school? I mean, why would I do that? Uh, so anyway, uh, to cut it, to tell you that everything, Kotoko was lying to me, even though I trusted her 100%. My mother was lying to me. All my family was lying to me. They were planning in secret. And it was backstabbing, incredible backstabbing by everyone. I knew nothing, Sharif. I knew nothing. I never ever imagined that they would be planning behind my back. I mean, can you believe it? What do you think? What do you think of this?
Uh, yes, I think this is very pathetic, and everybody should learn from your story. And we have to think in an ethical way. That is very important for me. That is very important for me because we do not want more parent uh, in the Western world. They should not face this kind of trouble in their life.
Yeah.
So, so I think the family teaching and learning is very important.
Yeah. So my own daughter, who I trusted 100% lying to me, all my family. Can you imagine? My own mother, auntie, everyone. I can't believe it. I just can't believe they were all secretly behind my back, lying to me. Just it's just amazing. It's just unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable, right? Anyway, so uh, I had a job as a professor in Japan, but because of the pandemic, Japan border was closed for nearly 2 years. And the border opened, and then I planned to go to Japan, and we went in October 2022, right? And I will tell you what happened in Japan. You know what happened in Japan. You already know, but I will tell you the whole detail in the next episode. But I just want to say for this episode of this podcast that I didn't really want to go back to Japan. I was thinking, you know what? We're in Australia now. I'm quite comfortable in Australia, and I've received all the awards in academia. Like all the awards, fellowships, awards, and Order of Australia. I think the only prize I haven't got is the Nobel Prize. And like I said, I'm writing some physics papers now. Maybe I will get the Nobel Prize later on. But I was thinking at the time. I've received every award, every fellowship that in academia and engineering, and I thought, okay, that's it. I think I just rather stay in Australia, Um, and I told my family that I think I want to stay in Australia. Now, Sharif, they had been planning for Kotoko to go back to Japan so that she would backstab me, leave me, and go back to her mother, right? Even though I was looking after her for more than 10 years and treating her like gold, like a princess. So, I asked my mother, my auntie, my grandfather, should I go back to Japan? And of course, they all said yes. Why did they say yes? Because they had a plan. They had a plan for Kotoko to backstab me and go back to her mother, right? So obviously they wanted me to go back to Japan. And the last day of I was in Australia, I think I told my grandfather, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay in Australia. And immediately, Sharif, my mother called me 2 times. And she said, "Oh no, you must go to Japan. How can you give up a professorship in Tokyo? How can you give it up? You got to go back to Japan." She called me twice, right? And then because my grandfather is like the head of the family, he's 99 now. I don't even know whether he's still alive because my family never contacted me since Kotoko left 3 years ago, right? They never contacted me. He could be alive. He could be passed away. I have no idea because they never contact me. Anyway, my mother knows that I always listen to my grandfather. So my grandfather strangely called me and said, "Oh, Adrian, you should go to Japan. You should go to Japan, right?" So what I'm saying, Sharif, is they all desperately wanted me to go back to Japan because they had a big plan of this backstabbing, of Kotoko to backstab me, and after 10 years of treating her like a princess, like gold, to backstab me and go back to her mother. And so in the end, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I went back to Japan and I fell into their trap. I fell into their trap. I believed them all to be like honest people. but they are all like backstabbers and liars. All of them. My whole family is a bunch of backstabbers and liars, and uh, and also Midori and her family also a bunch of hyenas, a bunch of jackals, right? Anyway, so the next part of this story is when I go to Japan and I'll tell you the detail of what happened. You know the details because you know we were talking to each other a lot. All the I think every day, a few times a day, you called me because you were worried about me, Sharif. Do you remember?
Yes, Professor. Yes.
So next time I will tell you what we will tell you we will tell the audience what happened in Japan. So, but I think for today we'll leave it. We'll end this session, and next week, part three, we will say what happened in Japan. And do you have
Yes.
any words for this week?
No, thank you. This is the story we can learn from you, and we can save our family. So, family always number one. So we say it, but we need to protect our family, and we have to be honest with each other. We should
Yes,
not go for backstepping anyone in our family
yes,
member. Yes.
exactly. Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Sharif. I appreciate your time, and we'll finish off with part three, and we'll tell the public what happened in Japan.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.